Hi, I'm Luis Portillo of the Customer Experience Center in Boulder, Colorado. I am the subject matter expert for the wide format here, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the TF6250, which is our flatbed, roughly 4x8 format with a few inches over for bleed. This is going to be the little brother of the wide format flatbeds that we have. The bigger brother, which is exactly the same printer, it's just a 7x10 bed, so that's a difference. The TF6250 is a UV printer. UV printer, what that means, it's UV ink, and the ink cures with UV light. So as I'm showing you guys how this prints, you're going to notice some flashing lights, and that means that's what's going to be curing the ink. So for now, let me show you guys some of the samples that we have here, and then I'll print something for you guys also. So this is a sample printed on metallic paper. And some of the things that you can do, the ink configurations on this particular printer are CMYK plus a white ink plus a gloss ink plus a primer ink. The primer you're going to use for medias like glass or untreated metals, medias that normally don't accept ink very well or don't adhere very well. That's what the primer is going to be used for. The gloss is going to be kind of a spot gloss look like you would see in offset printing. What is happening here is that the paper is a metallic-y paper, and then you're going to have your white ink over the top. So some of the areas you don't use any of the white ink, which is going to give you that metallic feel, some depth to it, and in other places are going to be the white ink that just gives you a little bit more shape and detail in the areas. Let me show you what the paper looks like before you print on it. So the paper, this particular paper is a Hazen paper, and it's got different types of zigzaggy patterns. You can get different types of patterns on the paper, so that's kind of, you can get a visual as to what's going on. This one has kind of like a wave pattern in the background, so you can get some really cool effects, get really creative with what's going on. So that's using the white there. Another advantage of the flatbed printer is you can print on materials that normally you would not print on, that may be a little bit uneven. What the worst or the most one of the most challenging materials to print on is going to be wood, because there's an unevenness to the wood. It's not perfectly flat. So the flatbed printer, it's got the vacuum that is going to hold it down. It's going to flatten it as much as possible, and then you measure your highest spot, and then you just print on that. So a flatbed printer is a little bit more adaptable for printing on these types of medias. So this is a wood that we printed on, and this is just from a hardware store. It was like $17 a sheet for a 4x8 sheet, and I just cut it down. The other thing is, and I don't know if you can see this here on camera, there's a spot color gloss on the face here, just the mechanical part of it that we're using, and that you can use like traditionally you would use a spot color gloss on offset printing. It doesn't have the protective value of the UV in offset printing, but it's got the visual. You can create some pretty cool visual effects with that. You can also print on traditional media. So this is a second surface printing, which means second surface means that you print on the back, you print the color first, then you print the white behind it. And when you view it, it's going to be through the glass, and it gives it some additional depth. So this is something using the white and the color. So hopefully I've given you some pretty good background is how you can use the different colors. Also, something that I thought was pretty cool is we printed some mats. Some, if you go to a workout gym, things like that, a lot of times they have their logos printed on the mats, and this did a really great job on some of these anti-fatigue mats here that we use here on the site, and it really did a great job. So, those are some. Okay, so now I'm going to print a little something for you guys. I'm going to print on 3mm PVC, which is something that is very commonly used in the industry. A lot of people call it PVC or Sintra or Comatex, a lot of different names, things like that. So I'll just print on that. It's a 24x24 inch piece. First thing we do, there's some positioning pins. So this is going to be your 0, point right here. And you just use your positioning pins to get to the 0, point. Everything is based off of this point when you print. You turn on your vacuum. There are 4 different vacuum zones. So this right now is just using this S pattern, so 24x24 sizes. You can put on different vacuum zones depending on how big your media is. That's all controllable. So that's a good thing. I'll leave my vacuum on. I'll put my pins down. and I'll cue something up to print for you guys. So one of the qualities of a flatbed printer is that the print carriage is what moves and what's going to print across the media, while the media, the bed, is stationary. I'll make another printer also later about our hybrid printer, and that's a little bit different. The media moves as the print carriage stays stationary. So I'm going to be printing here a sample of something that's going to be CMYK plus the gloss feature, the glossy ink feature. So this right now is printing in 3-pass mode. 3-pass mode is kind of your medium speed quality mode. You know, most of the stuff that you're printing is going to be probably in the 3-pass mode. A lot of that is going to be dictated by the media that you use. Some media you can definitely speed things up, other media you want to slow things down. So again, this is 3-pass mode. What it's going to be doing right now is printing the 4 colors first, and then we'll go back and print the gloss. If you notice the lights flashing on and off at the bottom, there's purple lights, so it's printing in both directions, unidirectional. It's printing it on the way out and on the way back. It's laying down ink, and the lamps come on and cure the ink, so the ink is going to be completely cured, completely dry after the lamp passes over the top of it. So now we're going to be printing the gloss layer. Gloss layer is, because you haven't moved the media, the gloss layer is going to be perfectly registered to what it printed previously. So it's just going to come right above that and create some pretty cool effects. Again, you can get as creative as you want with this stuff, with the different inks, different layers. You know, the flatbed, a true flatbed allows you to build layer upon layer upon layer and build some pretty cool effects. And because your media isn't moving, you're able to register everything on top of each other and with no problems with registration. So right now it's going to be printing the gloss. There's a shadow behind the rise above text, and I'm going to print that as a gloss and kind of make it, it'll look like a relief, kind of metallic-y relief when it's all done. And then up on the top I did a clipping path on the dolphins, and it'll just put the gloss effect on the dolphins and nothing else on the top part of the artwork. Something that sets this printer apart from other printers is the 12 Generation 5 Ricoh print heads. You know, the previous flatbed, other printers that we have in our portfolio have 6 print heads, and the speed, they're really good on speed, but adding the additional print heads, going to 12 print heads on this printer really has given us some additional speed on this, some additional functionality with the extra inks. And you know, the quality remains the same because we're talking about the Ricoh Generation 5 print heads. You have variable dot sizes, so it's going to give you smooth gradations, really good to high quality stuff when we're talking about the Ricoh print heads. So now it's putting the gloss over the top of the dolphins. I can see it in an angle right now, how that effect is affecting the artwork, and a lot of times the gloss will add more detail. If you have like muscle tones or something that has a lot of detail in there, that'll just help bring that out. It's hard to tell when this media is laying flat, but after it's finished printing, I'll put it up to the camera so you can see the effects of the gloss. Okay, turned off the vacuum. I'll show you guys, hopefully we can see this on camera, some of the effects right in here. You know, I have gloss on the dolphins, I've got gloss on this background. There's a kind of a metallic silver background behind the headline, and hopefully you can get that effect on camera because, you know, up live looks pretty cool.